when I am depressed, I run to my Torah.
You got a lot of shit for that.
A lot of shit.
And they stopped supporting a program for foster children because you went on a trip to Israel.
I'd rather be a part of a community that doesn't involve violence, except for when you fuck with me.
That's right.
Period.
That's going to be the opening clip of the show. Every guest on this show is so unique. Somehow, today's guest might just be the uniquest, or should I say, Juniquest. She's overcome a stupid amount of adversity in her life, and yet somehow has come out the other side as a joyful and successful Emmy and Grammy-winning star. From being homeless to becoming a household name, she is all about growth and being true to herself. She only learned she was Jewish 18 years ago, but you'd never know it from how fully she's become one of the community's most visible and dependable voices, and we're lucky to have her. Please welcome the Eritrean comedian, Miss Tiffany Haddish. We
My
here.
new name is Junica.
Yeah.
My name is Junica. And I'm the best. All the DJs we try to feel my... No, Louis, stop.
So I want to know where that was going.
Yeah, it was going somewhere nasty.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Welcome.
I'm happy. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to be here with you in Detroit, where neither of us live.
Yes, and it's cold.
And it's cold.
Yeah.
So you grew up in South Central.
Yes.
4 little siblings. Dad left when you were young. Already, that's a lot to overcome. You know, how did you stay grounded in that as a young kid?
I was my mom's helper, you know, and up until my mom had that car accident, she taught me a lot. And she always said, you know, what's the point of being alive if you're not doing something to make it better? Your job here on this planet is to make things better. So if you're not making it better, what are you doing here? Now, she kind of said in a more aggressive, meaner way.
Okay.
Yeah, they would kind of hurt my feelings. But it was something that stuck with me, that kept me like, anytime I show up somewhere, anytime I'm doing something, I want to be able to make that environment, this place, the situation, these people better.
Leave it better than you found it when you got there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I mess it up. I'm a human.
We all do. So you mentioned the car accident.
I begged her to let me babysit that day. Let me babysit. I know how to make rice. I know how to make hot dogs. I know how to make a baby bottle. I know how to change diapers. We're going to go to bed in a few hours. Like, let me just babysit. I won, and she left us at home. And she didn't come back. And I couldn't get a hold of anybody for like 3 days. We couldn't find her.
Oh, my God.
And she was in the hospital.
Damn. So she, suffered terrible brain damage.
Major brain damage.
To the point where she was getting violent with you.
Yeah, well, she had to learn how to walk, talk, eat all over again, right? And then her communication skills, her vernacular wasn't what it used to be. Her compassion wasn't what it used to be. It was like, that's my mother's body, but there's something or somebody else in it. And you could see glimpses of her struggling, trying to be there. And I'll never forget the day she left the hospital and the doctor's like, you're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to be your mommy's helper. And I'm like, I've always been my mommy's helper. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be her helper. I didn't know that meant that I was going to become basically a mother.
Right, teaching her how to walk,
Everything
literally.
that she taught me, I was teaching her.
Wow.
Everything, every lesson I ever learned from her, which in a way, it kind of hurts my feelings because I wish she could have taught me more. I wish she could have poured more into me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're only, 8, 9 years old at this
Yeah,
time?
8, almost 9. It was really hard. It was, I don't know how to control kids except for with these fists. At the time, so I probably was not the most nicest co-parent.
You kept the little siblings in line?
But guess what? None of them are in prison. They're all doing well.
Job well done.
And, my baby brother, he calls me mom from time to time. He was calling me mom those first few years. And I had to keep telling him, I'm not your mom. I'm your big sister. I'm Tiffany. And by the time, I guess I was definitely 12. And when I say I guess I wasn't the best parent at 12.
Shocking.
And we ended up in foster care.
Right.
And that led to me getting to know police and all kind of stuff. So
were you with your siblings or did you guys get split
no,
up?
I got separated from them. So my 2 sisters were together and my 2 brothers were together. And then I made sure that the social worker took me with her to drop them off so I knew where they were, right? And I write down their address. And because my mom also installed in me before that, all you have is your family.
Yeah.
That's all you got. At the end of the day, you can build a family, you can do all these things, but your family, your siblings are the most important. Every chance I got, I went to go check on them. I wanted to see them,
Of
and
course.
the police would arrest me for being AWOL. It is what it is.
It sounds like in that short period, your mom like did an amazing job. Like that you had all this wisdom and values already at that age to lean
Between
on.
her and my grandma and my aunties, they definitely poured into me. My great uncles. I was one of those kids that was always trying to be an adult's face, always trying to be in their conversations. Don't speak unless spoken to. All right, but you didn't say nothing about listening to everything y'all talking about.
That's right. In your New York Times best-selling book, The Last Black Unicorn, you say that making people laugh is what helped you survive through a lot of that time. What do you mean by that?
I started to learn once my mom had that accident that if I made her laugh, she would not be as violent. And when I was in school, I figured out that if I made the bullies laugh, they wouldn't be as violent. It's something about making people laugh that makes them feel like, well, I want to beat you up, but I'm not going to today.
It's disarming, it's charming.
Yeah, and then it became my favorite sound. It's the safest sound. The sound of laughter to me is the safest sound. Unless it's one of those like crazy maniacal laughs.
Right.
And then you can still manipulate that in a certain way to make that work for you too. But for the most part, I feel like hearing people laugh, it opens up the goodness in their heart, and they kind of see you for who you are. They create this image in their head, but they don't want to hurt you as bad. From my experience.
That's deep. Because that, hearing that nugget coming from the experience you've had, it makes a lot of sense. I have to ask, what makes you the last black unicorn?
Okay, so that goes back to school and me going ahead and accepting what the bully said. So I had like a wart growing out my forehead, and they would call me a dirty ass unicorn, and they would be like, connect the dots, because I had a mole here on my chin, this mole here, I had another mole there. They would just like make so much fun of me, and I would get mad, and at first I would cry and stuff, and then, I don't know, I just decided, I'm a unicorn, I'm a dirty guy, I'm about to stab him with my horn. So I start chasing them and stuff, and then it kind of stuck with me. I'll be the black unicorn, I'll be the dirty unicorn, whatever. And like, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If you mean me, I'm gonna stab you. And they're like, you ain't got no knife. I'm like, I got my horn. And like, claiming the power.
Yeah, that's what it
taking
is.
their power, and then flipping it on them. You want to make fun of me? Well, let me make fun of you too.
Yeah.
Let me find something about you. And then I just love unicorns, and I feel like I am a unicorn. I do a lot of things that a lot of people can't do and wish they could.
What do you think sets you apart? Like, where do you get that superpower from?
I think I'm fearless, and I believe what I believe, but I'm going to go with my instincts, and I'm going to explore arenas that the average person might not explore.
1997, a social worker gives you two choices: psychiatric therapy or Laugh Factory comedy camp. Not exactly Sophie's choice there. What was the experience at that comedy camp where you were like, okay, A, I love this, and B, oh, I'm actually good at this?
My experience at that comedy camp was a lot. That was the first time a man ever told me I was smart or intelligent, and I didn't feel like they were going to try to hurt me or violate me. It was the first time I actually felt seen. Go on stage. We had to go on stage for 3 minutes and tell a funny story or a monologue.
That's long, 3 minutes when you're new to it. Yeah, that's a lot.
It was a lot. Or tell funny jokes. I remember there was some kids that would just do like popular comedians jokes. And I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. So I would talk about riding the bus. I would talk about going to the bathroom. And I will never forget Charles Fleischer. This is day one, and I was the biggest fan of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Still to this day, that's my most favorite movie in the world. And Charles Fleischer, who does the voice of Roger Rabbit, is there.
Is it at your camp?
Is at the camp. He's one of the mentors.
Oh,
I mean, the mentors that would come in and teach us were comedians, world famous comedians.
That's amazing.
Like, big deals, like not little deals, big deals.
Yeah.
And he came in there, and I was telling a joke about old women using the bathroom, and how I could tell when it's an old lady in the bathroom. When you're in a public restroom, you could always tell by the sounds they make. Like when I go to the bathroom, mind you, I was like 16 at the time. But when I go to the bathroom, I'm quiet. It's, but when somebody that's old go to the bathroom and they be in there, like I was, it's so. He was like, you should not be talking about bathroom humor. You're a beautiful person, and you need to talk about beautiful things. And I was like, but going to the bathroom is beautiful. I always feel better after I go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Pretty girls take poops.
So wait, was that a comforting feedback?
It was a lot. It was a lot. First, I felt really good and comforted. Second, I felt challenged. Third, I felt like I was in a safe enough place to say, well, this is why I want to talk about this. And then he goes, okay, if you make that choice, you're limiting where you can go in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So know that.
Right. You're being a certain kind of comic.
Right. Which I didn't understand at the time. I was like, whatever. But I still love you.
Yeah.
and then, like, David Allen Greer came in there. Marlon and Sean Wayans, Damon Wayans came in there.
Like the greatest comedy camp ever.
Man, when Richard Pryor showed up, that was like,
this is an insane all-star lineup.
Mm-hmm. Dan Cook. I mean, it was a big deal.
How many kids were in this camp?
There's probably about 20 of us.
What a lucky group.
Ages 8 to 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see why that was so transformative.
I kind of stuck with it till I was like 18, till I got emancipated. And then I was homeless. And then I'm like, this $25 is not going to put a roof over my head. I got to figure this out.
Speaking of that time in your life, you wrote about a little bit in your most recent book, I Curse You With Joy, how you're living in your car, you're doing gigs. You said Kevin Hart really helped you in that moment. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I was trying to hide that I was homeless. I wasn't really trying to tell people I was homeless because I had to learn humility in that it's okay to ask for help. I was living in my car. I had like all this stuff in the trunk. I had my blankets, my pillows, all this stuff. And I used to pull up we did this show every Wednesday night at the Laugh Factory. I would pull up a little late so nobody could see all the stuff in my car. Kevin Hart happened to pull up at the same time. And I was like, dang, I'm trying. I slip down, like, don't let him see me or something. And he was like, what the hell you doing in this car, Tiffany? So I was like, I'll talk to you after. I'm in between homes. I'm just in between. Like, leave me alone. Like, and trying to just get in the club and do the show. And he's like, after this show, we're going to have a conversation. We need to talk. We had a conversation. And I told him what was up. I told him, what I'm going through. And it was really hard to tell him.
Sure.
It's embarrassing, right? He gave me $300 and said, get you a hotel room for the week and figure it out. Make a list of goals and achieve those goals. So I went to the Snooty Fox, which is this like hourly place. You can rent it by the hour.
Where is that?
It's in South Central off of Martin Luther King and Western. It's on the Holstro. And so I took a shower. I did not sleep under the covers or even on the covers. It was more so like move all this shit over and lay my shit down. I took a nap, and then I woke up and wrote out my list of goals. And the next day I got a call about an apartment. And I guess Kevin had talked to somebody and they talked to somebody and then they only wanted like a $500 deposit, which was kind of great because I had a couple of $100 and his $300. So I put it together and was like, here's the deposit. And can I change this? Can I do that? Here, Yeah. And then I still have that place.
The same apartment?
Same place. I still have it. I don't live in it.
Right. Are you renting it or you own it now?
It's now in an amazing closet. It's an amazing closet.
Nice.
It's holding my history.
So that's what success looks like.
That's what it looked like in the middle of the hood.
That's amazing. That what a mitzvah he did.
Yeah, it's a huge mitzvah. And then I keep trying to pay him back and then he'll give me the money back or he'll run away from me.
He's doing all right.
He's doing fine.
You have this line in that book that I really loved. You said, I don't want to live my life as a professional victim. I'd rather be a professional overcomer. Very Jewish. We don't just survive, we thrive.
Right.
Can you pinpoint where like that drive comes from to like be that overcomer? And like, how do you maintain that optimism?
First of all, I'm sick of hearing about people's problems. I don't want to trauma bond with nobody. Okay? I did my trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Can we success bond? Can we bond over good things that we've achieved? Even if it's a little thing like, hey, I was able to use the bathroom on my own and wipe my own ass. Okay?
Hey, we did it.
You winning! like, let's bond over success stuff, right? I don't want to trauma bond. I feel like wherever you put your energy, that is what's going to grow, right? I also, though, believe that it's very important to remember who you are, your history, where you come from, what you've been through, so you don't create those same mistakes, right? So in sharing those historic things or experiences, you should do it in a way where you also tell the bad, but here are the good things that came out of it. This is what I've learned from it.
You parlay your many talents at one point into being an energy producer at bar and bat mitzvahs.
Yes.
My wife used to dance at bar and bat mitzvahs before we met.
She was an energy producer then.
Is that what the dancers are energy producers or like the MCs?
They're the MC, the dancers, the people that's giving it. Like, I feel like all of those people are producing positive energy, right?
Yeah.
Anybody that's coming in that room to make sure everybody is in here having a great time. We're celebrating this child, becoming an adult, having all this family, all these friends here, and we're celebrating that. That's your job is to make sure it's good energy. You don't know if there's bad blood in that family.
Right.
You don't know if Esther hates Rachel and it's going to be a problem if they see each other on the dance floor. And if they do start getting into, you see a little hostility going, you need to come in there and bring some positivity.
Yes, yeah.
That's your job.
That's right. So Courtney, weekly shout out to Courtney. You're an energy producer, babe.
Yeah, and she's producing great energy with your kids.
That's right.
Hello.
Every day.
Every day.
Did
She's
you
producing you too?
So it seems like you enjoyed it.
I did. I loved it.
Oh,
I loved it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And like, what did you learn about Judaism and Jewish culture through that exposure?
Getting into that job,
Yeah.
you know, there's my grandma and DJ Timbo. So I met DJ Timbo at one of my school dances.
Who's DJ Timbo?
He was the guy that owned Enterprise Entertainment.
The company that you ended up working for.
Yes. And he asked me to come and do, you know, he saw me at the dance. Everybody's like circled around me and, you know, I'm giving off this great energy. And they're like, go Tiffany, go Tiffany. He comes up to me. He gives me his card and he goes, I'd love for you to work for my company. We do executive parties and bar mitzvahs and I'd love for you to be there. And I thought he was such a freaking creep. I was like, what a creep. I go home. I show my grandma. I said, Grandma, this man came up to me at the school dance and he asked me to do bar mitzvahs and executive parties. Can you believe that? That's so gross. And I give her the card and she looks at it and she goes, oh, you better call that man. That's getting closer to your people. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, that's getting closer to your people. Now, in my mind, I didn't know what a bar mitzvah was. I thought it was you get on a bar and you show your mitzvah. I thought this was a mitzvah, okay?
I haven't heard that one before.
That's what I thought. And so I was like, Grandma, what do you mean our people? Our people
You thought this guy was like an underage sex trafficker?
He was like, he was 20 or 21. And I thought, in a way, he was kind of like gangly and skinny and a little like, like bouncing around. I thought he was a weirdo. I didn't know what he was. And my grandma starts explaining Judaism to me. And she starts telling me about my father, which up to that point, nobody really talked about my dad that much. And every now and then when it came to like money stuff and different things that I would do around the house, my grandma would be like, oh, you so Jewish. Oh, you so Jewish. And I just took that as she was trying to say I was like Jesus. Okay? Because Jesus was Jewish.
Right. Okay.
Cut to, I go have the meeting with the guy. She comes with me. She talks to him. She goes, yeah, you're going to work for him. And so I do the first bar mitzvah. And I'm just like, I never seen anything like it before. I never seen nothing like all these people came from all over and they all loved this family and this young man. And everybody celebrating him and lifting him up in a chair. And he's dancing with his mom and he's dancing with his grandpa and his grandma and his dad. He knows his dad. And like, it was just so beautiful. Then he told me he didn't think I had what it takes. Because I was also so shocked that I would be like dancing for a second and then I would see this beautiful thing happening and I would be like, I would just stop. And now I don't know if it was jealousy coming up inside of me or, wow, I can't believe this is happening. And then I told him I could do it. And he has me come back to do another one. And it was a bat mitzvah for a girl. And that was like, I was crying because she got to dance with her dad. And then she did her candle lighting. And it was like so beautiful that she was able to honor all these people in her family. Then I did another one and we had to go to the temple and I got to see the ceremony before. And I had never felt my heart fill up the way it filled up.
Wow.
Like, because I got to hear the prayers. Everything they read from the Torah, it's all musical.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had been to the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. I had been to a Baptist church, Catholic church. I had been with the Muslims, right? And to hear them read the Torah and to hear them say all the things they were saying, which sounded a lot like the Jehovah's Witnesses, but the community that they had, the way they supported each other. And I'm like, I wish we did that. And then I don't know what it was about just hearing that Torah. It filled every cell in my body. Even when, like, I started making it a point to go earlier, to be there when the cantors doing their thing, when the rabbis saying this, it would fill my whole soul up and I would feel like I'm healing.
Wow.
I would feel like I'm a complete person. I'm like, maybe this is my thing. Maybe, I don't know.
So this was just your natural
and I didn't
vibe
know,
with it.
Yeah, this is just like my soul is like resonating with this.
Wow.
My spirit is resonating with this. And like, I never felt that way in any type of religious setting before. Like nothing like when I hear the Torah.
Wow.
Nothing like when I hear the cantors sing the songs. When I hear the prayers, when I do my Shema, Yisrael, like it just, for me, it feels like I'm healing. It feels like everything's coming into order. Like there's peace. Even though I might be surrounded in chaos, there is peace. And I feel like God is talking right to me. And I don't know why, I get emotional about it because I feel so overjoyed with it. So like, I love when they do the motzi. I love like everything.
That's amazing.
When it comes to traditional stuff, I wish that like in my African-American culture, we don't have a lot of that. We've created all this culture, but we don't have the hundreds of years. We don't know, right? The hundreds of years. And I'm lucky enough to finally get to meet my dad and hear the stories and hear all the things that he went through and learn from him. The amount of time I got to learn from him, those 11 years, was the most impactful, I think, 11 years of my whole life. Yeah. And I'm so grateful. And then at the same time, I'm sad for a lot of my friends and people I know that will never get to have that. But so I feel very lucky, unicorn-like in that way.
Let's talk about your dad, since we're here anyways. So how does he reappear in your life? Like what happens?
So I met a man on a cruise and then I lost contact with that man. And then that man found me. And I said, well, dang, if you can find me, maybe you can find my dad. And he said, I'll find your dad, but you got to marry me. And I was like, all right, sure. And I was saying that thinking he ain't going to find my dad. I've been looking for him since I was 16. Like since I started doing those bar and bat mitzvahs, he's not going to find him. And 3 weeks later, he finds my dad. And in them 3 weeks, that man got in my mind and in my heart and in my spirit. He got me and mine all caught up. So I was like, I guess I'm going to have to marry you. And, but my dad was like, man, I knew it was him as soon as I heard his voice on the phone. It was like the little girl, the little 2-year-old in me was like, daddy, daddy, daddy. Like, I need my daddy. Like, and I'm like, wow, this man is beautiful. He's nothing like my mama said. My mama said, oh, you look like your ugly ass daddy. You ain't gonna never be shit like your ugly ass daddy. All the stuff she would say about him. And he was beautiful. And I was like, dang, I'm glad I'm meeting you this way. Because if I had met him in a bar, I might have tried to date him. Because to me, he was beautiful.
Handsome man.
Anyways, I just wanted to pour into him all the love that I have been saving for him. And I thought when I met him, I was going to want to like kick him in the nuts or punch him, like cuss him out. Why would you do this? Why would you leave me behind? Do you know how bad my relationships have been with men because you weren't there for me? Yeah. Do you know how many mistakes I've made because you weren't there for me? And I never said that until this one night I got drunk and I called him and I just poured my whole heart out crying and stuff. And he was crying too. And he was telling me, my baby, even when you're wrong, you're right. Even when you're wrong, you are right. As long as you are learning, you are right. And he was sharing like, you know, all his experiences and how like he ended up on drugs and alcohol. And he was Jewish. And then my mom was trying to convert him to be a Jehovah's Witness. And he was like, nope, you can do that though, but that's not what I'm going to do. And then that whole thing happened between them and he went on his way. She went on, and he was rolling around the country. And he ended up becoming like, he said he's a Jewish Christian because the Christians help him get off of drugs and alcohol. And he was saying that the respect is different for Jews, for Black Jews in America than in other places.
Right.
And he was always telling me I had to go to Eritrea and I had to go to Israel. Like, you got to go see your people. You have to see. He's like, even if you decide to be Christian, you still have to go see because that is where God is, in Israel.
How much did he tell you about his family history? Like,
a lot.
So when did they come to Eritrea? When did he have to leave? Because I know there was, civil war there.
Yeah, he was there.
There's no Jews there anymore.
The family was always there. His dad's family was in a village. Just about an hour outside of Asmara. Asmara is the capital. And his mother grew up in Asmara. Her family was well-to-do. They were doing pretty good, and she married, my grandpa Reda, and they did their thing. But he passed away, my grandpa, and then my grandma took over all the businesses, and there was farmland galore, houses. She had a spice business. She had a bar.
Wow.
She was popping. She was popping. And I had 2 uncles that were older than my father. They trained in the military with the current president that's there now. And they fought in the war. They passed away during the war. My father, he kind of fled. Not even kind of, he fled. He joined the Italian Navy and was a freedom fighter from outside the country.
Mm-hmm.
So like sending money, he was the secretary of the freedom fighters and all this stuff. And he raised money and did things to like help the people, help them get out of there, get to Israel, get to wherever they got to get to.
Dang.
And that's just a short little.
Yeah.
Because we could talk about that for hours. And after going there.
So that's what I want to ask you
and
about.
After going
so you
there
after he passed, right? That's when you went?
Yeah, I took him to bury him.
Wow.
And I probably did it the wrong way, but I did what he asked me to do.
Which was what?
He asked me to not spend a whole lot of money on him, but to bury him with his mother. He said, I didn't spend money on you. And I really believe he died from guilt. I know he did. I know he died from the guilt. Because in the tradition, in the culture, it's frowned upon to not raise your child. It's frowned upon to not be there to teach them the whole way. And all the things that he would teach me and share with me is like, it was like he was trying to repent. It was like he was trying to make up for all this lost time. I didn't care about the lost time. Maybe a little bit of me did, but in reality, I wanted to be in the present. I wanted to be in the right now.
That's amazing that you were able to.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, it's so great.
And he would always cry about he'd probably be mad at me for saying that he was crying, but he would cry. He would be like, I don't know why you love me so much. Why do you even talk to me? And my friends, they raise their daughters and their daughters won't even talk to them. Like you shower me, you protect me, and I should be protecting you. I should be giving to you everything. And I'm like, but Daddy, you did give me everything. You gave me everything I needed before I even, got here. You gave me a piece of your soul. Gave me the blueprint to make me who I am. And although life has been really hard and it might have been better if he was around, but maybe it would have been worse. I mean, he was on drugs and alcohol, bro.
Right.
That might have been horrible for me.
Mm.
So maybe God put it the way he did. And we're together now. And that's all that matters. Like right now, we got to focus on the now. Because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here or you're going to be here. And so when I took him, he said, don't spend a lot of money, right? His main thing was, put our people on the map. Let people know that this place exists. Because nobody even knows we exist.
Did he mean like African people? Did he mean the Jews of Eritrea?
I believe he specifically meant Eritrea. That's what I believe. Because I didn't even know what it was. It sounds like something next to Narnia or something from the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like
Atreyu.
It doesn't sound like a real place, right? So when I go, I see all this history, all this culture, all this beauty. But then in the midst of the beauty, there's also a lot of pain and devastation and a lot of people with PTSD. They survived war.
Right.
That lasted for 30 years.
Yeah.
They watched people die in their arms right in front of them, body parts stroll out in the streets. They took me to this museum and I was just like mind blown. And then, they show the exodus of all the Jews leaving.
What was that like to be in a place where the Jews had to flee?
It was scary because I was under the impression it's illegal to be Jewish. I was under the impression they probably gonna lock me up. They say all these things like you read on the internet and these articles and these magazines about, the people that get locked up and if they're preaching their religion or doing too much with their religion. When I got there, I was like, that is not what I'm witnessing here. I'm not witnessing that.
It's kind of always the case, right?
Yeah.
You just got to get there and see for yourself.
And that's why I believe every religion says to bear witness. You must bear witness to see with your own eyes so you know the truth.
Yeah.
There's culture everywhere. And it is very Christian and Muslim based.
Right.
But there are some Jews there. There are maybe 2 or 3.
Right. Okay. So,
yeah.
yeah. Did you get to see the Asmara synagogue?
Yes, I got to see that.
I've only seen
Beautiful.
pictures. It looks
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You have citizenship there now, right?
Yeah, I'm a citizen there, and I have property there and farmland there.
How often are you there?
Okay, I haven't been in 2 years, which is kind of driving me a little crazy. But I've been there 4 times, and every time I go, I invest. I
That's so cool.
and I'm still investing. I'm still, I pay my 2%. When you're a citizen,
Right, you
if
pay your
leave the country,
taxes
you
or
pay
whatever.
My taxes, my 2% tax, and and I keep in communication with family and make sure property taxes are taken care of and things are taken care of.
So you find out you're Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember your first reaction?
My first reaction was, well, why I didn't have a bat mitzvah? And why don't I have any money? And why this and why that? Because, the stereotype is Jews have money.
Right.
But then as time goes on and I start doing research, it's a lot of Jews that ain't got no damn money.
Yeah.
But they have community. And so there is sharing, there's protection, there's looking out for, but it's a lot of very poor suffering.
Statistically, there's the exact same amount of rich Jews as there are poor Jews in this country. So you find out you're Jewish. Like, what's your first step of like, okay, now I want to invest in this and become this fully? Like, what do you do next?
I started studying right away because I already knew, I already was playing the prayers in the house. I'm already dancing to the music. I'm already into it. It's 11 years into the bar and bat mitzvahs. I'm in my mind. I basically am.
Right, you're already on board.
Basically, I was already going to Temple Aliyah in Woodland Hills for quite some time, just because I wanted to hear
you just like being there,
just like being. And they would be like, "What are you doing here?" The first month or two, they were questioning my presence, and then after a while, it was just like, "Oh, that's Tiffany. Go ahead, go." But once he passed, I was like, no, I have to honor all his wishes, honoring our people, honor God, make sure they know that Eritrea is on them, make sure they know that, and I'm going to honor myself. And I'm going to do what makes me, I want to worship God the way I want to worship God. And I want to do what makes my soul feel complete and healthy and gives me peace.
Yeah.
So I started studying. I told Sarah Silverman that, yeah, I'm studying. I'm going to have me a bat mitzvah. And she said, you should meet my sister. She's a rabbi. I was like, and at that point, I didn't even realize there was actual female rabbis. I thought the females were only cantors. And so when I meet her sister, I'm like...
Her sister, is she in Israel?
She's in Israel.
That's what I thought.
So I meet her sister on a WhatsApp and we get to talking and her sister comes into town to visit. And I'm like, we're talking. I'm like, oh, yes. I'm falling in love with this lady. Is she sharing all this knowledge and really filling in the blanks for me? I knew a lot of Judaism, but there's a whole lot I didn't know because what I know is perception.
Right.
So I really didn't know anything.
It's deep. There's a deep well there.
Yeah, it's such a deep well that you could I understand why people go into, school for years and years. Yeah, they're studying in their whole life.
Yeah.
Basically, Susan Silverman, she, trained me, taught me. Her daughter helped me with my Hebrew. And I had a bat mitzvah for my 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And I dropped my comedy special, Black Mitzvah, where I shared what you're supposed to do as a Jew. Share the things that you've learned. Make life better for others. And try your best to honor God at the same time. Right?
So,
to be an honor.
Black Mitzvah, you get brought in on the chair, singing Hava Nagila. When you were an energy producer, were you like, oh, I'm going to do that one day. I want to do that.
I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to be lifted up in the chair. It's a
good time.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's also scary because it's showing you could get dropped out of that chair.
You could.
To me, it represents all your communities around you and they're lifting you up in that chair. This is your day to be lifted.
Yeah.
And we got you. Even if you fall, we're going to catch you. We got you. Yeah. It's and I wish there was something like that in the African-American culture where it's you are protected. There is somebody, we love you. We care. We got you. If we all work together, like we used to, back in the 50s or the 1920 something, when the NAACP started,
somewhere around there.
We were together.
Yeah.
We were together. And then, systematically been separated.
Yep. Did you feel like you belonged right away? Or was there an imposter syndrome vibe? Or you were just like, I'm a Jew, how are you?
Yeah, I feel like once I decide I am, that I am.
I am.
I am.
Nice. And did you feel welcomed right away by the community?
For the most part, the older ones were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing? You know, they Americanized, little racist.
Yeah,
A
sure.
little bit messed up, you know.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop me from communicating with them and showing them that, you know, I see who you are. Yeah, I love God the way you love God. I hope you love God. I hope you love like I love.
Yeah.
You're part of my community, and some people in the community is messed up. And some people got warped beliefs, so they've had experiences and they have, you know, their stuff. But for the most part, I feel very welcomed to the community. And I had my Bat Mitzvah. I got a lot of death threats and a lot of, you know, when I went to Israel, I got a lot of death threats and a lot of people that I thought were my friends, but clearly they weren't. They were users, manipulators, hanger-oners, and they talked so poorly of me and didn't even have a conversation with me to find out why. Why would you go? Why?
Do you think it would have even mattered to them?
No, because they were using my name to promote themselves. And then, you know, God taking care of them. That mental illness is real.
Yeah.
But I cursed them with joy.
Nice.
Curse them with joy.
That's a good attitude.
There's obviously jealousy, hate, pain, misinformation, non-understanding of what's really going on. I saw the people. I was with the people.
Right.
I went to the kibbutz. I saw it.
Yeah.
It definitely.
You can't see that and be confused.
You
know?
Smelling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could smell it.
Oh, yeah.
You could smell it. You could see it.
Was there fighting happening while you were there? When I was, you hear the machine gun fire, you hear the bombs. That's crazy.
You see the coming towards and like dispersing on that shield.
You saw the Iron Dome taking stuff out.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
Like, why don't we have that in America?
Because no one's shooting rockets at us every day.
We should have one anyway.
What was the ceremony like for you? Like, what did you prepare? What did you do? Who was there? Where was it?
Okay, so my tour portion was Jacob's Ladder. And I prepared 5 months. I learned all the songs. I learned my portion. I wrote a speech about, like, you know, because you have to talk about.
You gave the Devar Torah?
Devar Torah, yes. And it was beautiful because, like, Itai Rice, my manager at the time, he did an aliyah for me. And then Billy Crystal did an aliyah for me, who is like my uncle, my Jewish uncle that I love so much. I can call him about anything.
That's amazing.
And he gives me the best advice. And I'm like, I needed this when I was way younger. I really needed somebody like him when I was younger. But I needed to make, you know, everything happens the way it's supposed to. Those mistakes that I made, the things that happened, they made me who I am. And so I am grateful. But I could have dealt without it. Anyways, that was great. I had a cantor there who I call her the Beyonce of cantor. She's a Beyonce of the Jews. She's like the best, and it's like my favorite. I go to Stephen S. White's temple. That's where I attend with Rabbi Yoshi, and he helped with so much of the ceremony. And I have to say, like, Rabbi Yoshi is my rabbi now. Even also, Susan's my rabbi too. They're my two. But Rabbi Yoshi has been the most awesome. To me, I feel like he's my big brother. His wife is my sister. They care for me. They look out for me. When I'm sick, they are there. You know, when I'm happy, they're there. They come to my comedy shows, and I'm like, you probably should come to this, Rabbi. I don't know if you should be at this show.
He's a pretty cool rabbi.
He's the coolest rabbi. And he's so funny. And I've like taken him with me to the White House. When they had that, they invited.
Go to the Hanukkah party? No, something else.
It was a day on the line. It was a Jewish Heritage Month.
Oh, cool.
And so it's a day on the line or whatever. And he came with me. And when I was doing my Torah portion and I'm looking out into the audience and I see this variety of people that know Hebrew very well and have been in the religion and practicing for their whole life. And then people that have never been to a bat mitzvah, never seen anything like this. And to see them experience it and be together was so beautiful. My mom was like, I don't know what you said, but I liked it.
I want to get back to the like communal reaction once you come in. What was the Black community's reaction to you saying like, hey, I'm a Jew now, what's up?
Girl, you ain't Jewish. What the fuck? You know, what the hell? You just trying to be up or you faking shit. What the fuck? What are you doing? Why would you even do that? Like, why not do that? They killed Jesus. Did they? Did you really read and see who killed them? Was it all of the Jewish community? Did he say, I hate all of you motherfuckers now? No, that's not what he said. He begged for their forgiveness. They know not what they do. I said, every day you snitching on somebody, putting somebody in jail. You killed somebody. Get the fuck out of my face. Just because of my religious beliefs does not mean I'm like, fuck all the black people. No.
Why would it?
Fuck all the Mexicans. I'm not fucking, no. I'm about let's all come together. From what I've read in the Torah, that's what it's about.
No doubt.
Community.
Mm-hmm.
And never forget it. Where you come from. Never forgetting your history so you don't repeat it. And I think in the black community is don't tell nobody. Keep it a secret. Don't say nothing. Who you talking too much? You doing too much. Then people gonna forget and it's gonna happen again. And it's a generational curse. We gotta break that. We gotta break these generational bad habits, these ways we talk to each other, these ways we talk to our kids. And I like the way Jewish people talk to their kids. I like the way they teach them about their business, about money, about family, about growth, about saving, about your soul, and about your ancestors, your history is so important. We need as human beings to feel like we're a part of something.
Yeah.
That's why you got gangbangers, because they need to feel like they're a part of something. Right?
Yeah.
Police, they feel like they're a part of something. We're keeping order. We're just, you need to feel like you're a part of something. I'd rather be a part of a community that is trying to make sure everybody eats, make sure there is joy, make sure there is healing and health and family and fellowship that doesn't involve violence, except for when you fuck with me.
That's right.
Period. Then I gotta light your ass up. Don't come in my backyard breaking through my door thinking you're not finna get fucked up. Sorry.
No, that was good. That's gonna be the opening clip of the show. You study Torah now.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for you? Do you do it with Rabbi Yoshi? You do it on your own?
I do it on my own, and sometimes with Rabbi Yoshi. I do a lot on my own. You
got books. You have commentary.
I have Rabbi Yoshi give me the books. He give me like several books, and then the Torah like in English with the Hebrew next to it. I know certain letters when I see them. I'm like, oh, that's what this is. That's what this is. Oh, that's God. That's this. The Elohim. This, that. Like, Adonai. I know that. Like, I know stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes me so excited. I feel like it's like literally learning how to read again.
I mean, literally is.
Literally
it's a new language.
How to read again. And like how excited I was when I finally did learn how to read. And now I know how I learn, so it's easier for me now. And it's just, I don't know, it's probably not when I should study the most, but when I am depressed or like feeling like the world is attacking me, I run to my Torah. And I run to all my little translations. And I try to find it, and I don't know why I do this, but that's just, I guess that's like the researcher in me or whatever. But whatever I find in the Torah, I try to find it in the King James Bible, in the New World Translation, and in the Quran. And if I can find it in all of those, then I know there's some truth in it.
It's some words of the sages there.
Yeah.
That have lasted all this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a reason.
For a reason.
Yeah.
I even studying into the Hinduism and stuff too, the Hindis. And I'm like, oh, that's this story. That's this thing. That's this. Like you can and that's kind of fun connecting the dots. And realizing, we all are I feel like and I could be wrong, but these are my feelings. I feel like we're all worshiping the same God. We just do it in a different way.
What has it been like career-wise for you since you've become like this vocal Jewish presence? Has it affected your career in any way?
Yes, it has. Career-wise, it did hurt me in a lot of ways. And it helped me in a lot of ways. Like, so there's this camaraderie amongst other Jewish people in the community and people that have love for Jewish people. That's been great. But then at the same time, like when I went to Israel, you got
a lot of shit for that.
A lot of shit from everywhere. And they dropped, like I had all these sponsorships for my foundation. I have the She Ready Foundation, and we work with foster youth, getting them housed and getting them education, getting them the life skills they need so they can be productive, awesome citizens, right?
Yeah.
And I had all these endorsements, all these different car brand. I'm not gonna say who it is, but you know who you are.
And they stopped supporting a program for foster children because you went on a trip to Israel.
They pull back in sponsorship. They pull back in all these different things.
That's so messed up.
I was like, well, yeah, you know who's for you and who's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes crazy things happen in your life and you feel like, oh, why me? Why? I was just trying to do good. I didn't realize it was going to be this. But sometimes that happens, the best of, like, and people drop you, whatever, because you need to make space for the real ones.
That's right.
And they weren't really for you.
No.
So anytime someone goes, you're fired, or we don't want to work with Tiffany Haddish, I go, thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much, because you just opened me up for the person or the people or the organization that does want to work with me.
Yeah.
That does want to make a difference in the community. That is not so hung up on the politicalness of things, but more hung up on the health and well-being of other human beings.
100%. And it's like every guest I've had on here has basically said what you just said.
There's protection in all that rejection.
What is still on your Jew to-do list that you haven't gotten to experience or get into yet?
My Jew to-do list. I want to go back to Israel. I want to spend more time with my elders. I want to hear more of their stories. I think that's really important. And then maybe a Jewish husband. There's a basketball player that's Jewish that's been, sliding in my DMs.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
NBA player?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not too many of those to choose from. We can narrow it down pretty quickly.
Yeah,
all right, good for you, Tiffany.
I haven't seen him in person, but we talk, we communicate.
Okay. We love to hear that. That would be quite the shidduch if you two ended up together. Okay. What's your relationship with Shabbat?
I love Shabbat. So I go to a lot of my friends' houses for Shabbat, and then I do my own version of Shabbat, and I call it's Shabbat game night.
That's fun.
I basically invite a lot of my Black friends, Hispanic friends, Asian friends, or my Jewish friends. I invite my rabbi, or sometimes it's just one of my Jewish homegirls or whatever. And we light the candles, we sing, and we do the prayer, and then we explain to everybody what's it about. Like, so then they're learning and they're asking questions.
That's
so then
awesome.
It's like, it's a mitzvah where it kind of like everybody's learning from each other.
Yeah.
And people that would probably have never talked to each other if they saw, one another in a bank or at a party or something, a regular party, they probably might not speak to each other. But in my house, we're sharing. It's so good.
That's awesome. The beauty of Shabbat.
I love Shabbat.
It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's coming up next for you? What's to do with Girls Trip 2?
Okay. So as far as I know with Girls Trip 2 is they are finishing up the script.
Okay. You going to Ghana? Is that true?
That's what they tell me.
Okay.
I don't know. We might be shooting at Tyler Perry Studios. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I hope we go to Ghana. I feel like we should go to Ghana. I know it's affordable if we go to Ghana.
That's all right. For number 3, you can go to Israel.
Hello.
Last thing you're up to right now, you're in the midst of your Funny and Fearless tour.
Yes, I'm doing the Funny and Fearless tour, traveling all over the country. Well,
you're only in like the South and the Heartland. What's that about?
Really not all over, just in certain places. There's places I never performed at before.
So what's that like? What's the strategy? Why that? Why there?
It's not that many Black folks in these places that I'm going to. Some places there are a lot.
That's why you're going to like Kansas and Montana.
Oh my gosh, I just did Mayetta, Kansas, and when I Googled the population of Mayetta, Kansas, it was like 355.
What are you doing there?
I was supposed to sell out a 1,100 seat theater in the casino, and I'm like, what am I? And then it was like only 3% Black in that community, and no Jews at all. And then it was no this, no that. I was like, ooh, I don't know, this fearless.
That's right.
And this should be funny.
I mean, if you're a stand-up, you can't have
it. You got to be fearless, and it should be funny. And it actually was amazing. Standing ovation. It was oversold. It was standing room and all in the back. Like
amazing.
They were standing up and they were laughing and then, cheering. And it was great. It was great.
All right, lightning round. I'm just going to throw a couple at you. If you could roast one person from the Bible, who would it be?
Methuselah. I would roast the hell out of Methuselah.
Because he's so old and has so many kids?
Yeah.
There's a lot of material there.
What's your pull-out game? Your back too old, huh? Yeah, I would roast the hell out of Methuselah.
What is a Black Jewish food combo that has yet to be invented that the world needs to have?
A challah fried red snapper sandwich.
Oh, shit.
I've been making those. Because, I'll be having so much challah. And I'll fry up some red snapper. And then it's better than...
Do you toast the challah for the sandwich or it's not toasted?
No, not toasted.
Okay.
Not toasted. Put a little bit of tartar sauce and just... it's good.
That sounds
Sometimes,
awesome.
Some Louisiana hot sauce. Just a little bit, not a lot.
Right.
And little, sometimes cabbage.
Okay.
Little coleslaw. Baby.
I need one of these.
Baby.
What's one of your favorite Hebrew or Yiddish words?
I think mitzvah. Yeah, mitzvah.
It's a good one. Do you know the word nigun?
No, but you should watch yourself saying it. No,
I knew as I was writing this, I was like, I wonder if I'm going to be introducing her to this. She's going to say, now you can use this in like a joke. Like, I expect
feel
a
like
future.
I've heard it. Wait, go ahead.
It's a Jewish melody, is a nigun.
A nigun,
like,
yeah.
Yana-nai, whatever.
Oh, that's
like,
a nigun?
Yeah, any of those those melodies are all called niguns. Do you have a favorite one?
My favorite one is die 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 die
Abdallah. Beautiful. That's a good one. What's your favorite Jewish holiday?
My favorite Jewish holiday would have to be Hanukkah. I think it's Hanukkah. Man, I really love Passover too, because family gets together. All the family gets together. The community comes together. But is Shabbat a holiday?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Well then Shabbat, because that's every
Friday.
week.
Get a little holiday. Yep.
Yeah, I love Shabbat.
Least favorite Jewish holiday? So when you think is lame or boring or not into?
Oh my gosh.
Don't connect with?
I kind of love it, but I hate it. Yom Kippur?
Yeah.
I love it, but I hate it. But it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you apologize to people that you may have hurt, even if you know you hurt them or not, like you're not sure. Just apologizing, like repenting. I think that is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I think it's something we should do every month, really. And I kind of hate it because it's some people I cut off for a reason. I don't want to talk to your ass no more, but dang, it's Yom Kippur. Let me go ahead and apologize for calling you a raggedy ass bitch. Because you are, but I'm sorry. And I do have love for you. That is why I'm letting you know that I apologize. And I hope that my behavior doesn't encourage you to be the behavior of the raggedy bitch anymore.
Have you ever celebrated Purim before?
No, but it's basically Halloween.
Kinda,
right?
Yeah. Definitely get to dress up and party.
Yeah, definitely get to dress up and party. I think I've gone to a Purim party, but I didn't dress up because I thought Purim at that time meant we pouring drinks for them.
You thought it was just like a little portmanteau.
Pour out the drinks. That's what I thought.
I can't believe I've never heard that because that is what happens at Purim. You're just pouring all the drinks.
You're pouring drinks. The libations are flowing. It's dancing. It's singing,
it's a great time.
It's like rejoicing. We're characters. We're this. Yeah.
Challah. Do you rip it or do you slice it?
I rip it.
Yeah.
I rip it. Everything tastes better with my hands. I don't know if that's the African part of me, but I love putting my hands in the food and all that. I use a challah to scoop up all
you got
the beef stew, all the stuff. Yeah.
To bring us home, tell my audience, please, if you would, how do we all become professional overcomers?
The way to become a professional overcomer it's simple, but it's difficult to do. It sounds very easy. And it's look at the situation you're in, right? And no matter how tragic it is, find the funny in it. And don't be afraid to share it in a joyous way. There's always something funny about it. Now, it might not be right in the moment. And in the moment, you're hurting. So go ahead and cry. Go ahead and scream. And maybe the funny will be the way you cry and scream. Maybe the funny will be the way people respond to you crying and screaming. There will be some joy somewhere in that tragedy. Find it, focus on that, and figure out what in this tragedy can make you grow as a human and make you better. And then marinate on that and move forward.
Tiffany, thank you so much for dropping the wisdom, dropping the knowledge, spending the time. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Enormous thank you to the last Black unicorn for spending her day off with me. That free time is precious, I know. I know we all appreciate you sharing your journey and your wisdom with us. As for you all, have you signed up for one mitzvah a day yet? To join our global mitzvah movement, thanking all the amazing folks who stand up for Jews in Israel, text the word mitzvah, that's MITZVAH, to this number, 844-384-6240. Easy way to make an impact, and it really matters. Last, even if you're watching this on JBS, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and youtube.com/@beingjewish. These numbers really are critical for helping to grow the show. Thank you all for your continued love and support, and I'll see y'all back here for the next Junique episode of Being Jewish with me, Jonah Platt.